Hello my friends, welcome back to Project Unchained. Today I want to talk about something that made a massive limitation in my life. Last video we talked about perspectives and multiple perspectives and this idea of a box and the box analogy where the box has 12 sides, 6 on the outside, 6 on the inside, and that can represent all the different perspectives that one can have about a box. That same principle exists in our life. We can hold all different kinds of perspectives about anything and everything we hold in life. It's really amazing. So this idea of perspective can do one of two things for us. It can shrink and limit our existence, or it can expand our existence. The idea of expansion through perspective would be our ability to be flexible with our perspectives. When we can change our perspective, when we can consider alternative perspectives, the perspective is flexible. We get to look at things from a different angle, through a different lens, through a different context. And that can be massive. That can be super expansive to the way we experience and enjoy life. And I think it's important again to recognize the fact that perspective and beliefs aren't necessarily the same thing. You can look at and understand different perspectives without necessarily having to feel like you need to change a belief that's important to you. You don't have to do that. It's beneficial to be able to view different perspectives. But again, that doesn't mean that the perspective you hold or the thing that you believe in is wrong. That's not the point. That's not the case. The point is to be able to expand our ability to receive different perspectives, our ability to look at different perspectives. That expands our consciousness. That expands opportunity to experience life differently in a more meaningful way. To limit perspective is to create a rigid perspective. This one perspective is it, and that's the only thing that there is. That's the only thing that exists. And therefore that perspective is my belief and nothing else is possible. That limits life. That limits the possibilities. And I wanted to share with you today a limited perspective that really impacted my life in a negative way, created a lot of negative experiences for me. And that rigid perspective really was pretty unconscious as well. I wasn't aware of it. And that's a lot of the point of a lot of these tools and a lot of this self-care work is to become conscious of those things, to become conscious of our perspectives, of our beliefs, of our habits. Consciousness is just the awareness of, and we have to have awareness if we are to ever cultivate and create change. This rigid perspective, this rigid limited perspective that I had that really impacted me in a negative way. I believed what people told me for many years of my life. It started and rooted with, being bullied. That became my self-talk. And so a lot of times I believed what people said about me, what people said to me. And I took all that personally. I took it on as though that defined, and that lets other people define who I am. That's giving my power away. That's giving everybody else around me the power over who I am. And what that does is, man, I took offense to everything. Every single little thing I would take offense to because I took it as attack. I took it personally. I took it as though what they said to and about me defines me, and that is me. And sometimes that doesn't feel good. And so anytime there was a slight undertone of sarcasm or anything along those lines, I took it personally and I reacted in a not necessarily very positive way. And so one of the things that really helped me start to shift away from that came from a lot of different places. But one of my favorite places is from the 4 Agreements with Don Miguel Ruiz and his work. One of the agreements is to not take things personally. And the way that we understand that and how to not take things personally is to understand that someone else's expression, what they say, what they do, is a representation of them and where they are at. Not me, not you, them. And that was really important to connect with. As the old saying goes, hurt people hurt people. And it was through a lot of those lenses and those ideas that I was able to connect with the idea of, when somebody calls me a name, that is an expression of their inner pain and their inner hurt. I don't need to take that on. I can define myself how I see fit through my beliefs, through the things that I do, my effort, the way I treat people. That's what defines me, not what somebody else says about me. That's an expression of them and where they're at. And that's really helped me in a lot of ways not give a shit what other people think about me. Whereas before, I would operate like, oh, I wonder what they're thinking about me. I wonder what they're thinking about me if I do this or say that. And there was this constant fear of wondering what other people were thinking about me at work, in social settings, anywhere. And it's so freeing to get to that point where you can let go of that and you don't have to worry about what other people think about you, what they say about you. That's them. That's their business. That's their expression. I don't need to know that. It doesn't add value to my life to know what they think or what they say about me. It just doesn't. So we let it go. Now, I believe in being transparent and being vulnerable here. I'm not perfect at it. I still have moments where I trip up and default to some of those old patterns and old behaviors, but I'm way more aware of them now and a lot more skilled at shifting that when I need to shift it. And that skill, that change, that adjustment in perspective, that expansion in perspective increased the quality of my life just a lot. I wish that I had the words to properly articulate what it's done for just like the weight that I carry around with me on a day-to-day basis. I'm so much lighter and freer and less stress and happy. It makes a really big impact. So I want to challenge you. I want to encourage you to work on that. If that's something that resonates with you, if you tend to take things personally, start to shift that perspective. Start to understand and connect with the idea that what other people do and say is an expression of them and where they're at, not you. And as you start to create that shift, you'll start to see and you'll get to feel and experience what I'm talking about. And I'm telling you, it is amazing. It's such a cool and neat experience. And I wish you all the best in trying to create that shift and connect with that shift and release worrying about what other people think about you, because it's such a beautiful place to grow to. And you can grow to that place. If I can grow to that place, I know you can, because I struggled with that for so long, for so many years. I always worried about what other people thought about me. I want you to be free. Break free from those figurative chains that hold you back. That's why we're here. We need to let go of what other people think about us. That's a limiting thought. It's a limiting belief. It's one of those chains that we need to break free from and move forward in life in a more empowered way. Work on that. I challenge you to work on that. Shift that perspective. What other people say and do is an expression of them, not you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to hear from you. Reach out if you want to have a conversation. Door's always open. Have a good day. Let's get unchained.